Not every change of direction in business is a mistake, but plenty of them are fear responses dressed up as a strategic decision. And the tricky part, the really tricky part, is that from the inside, they can feel almost identical. So, this video is about how you tell the difference in real time while you're in it. What is your desire to make a change in your business a response to? What your business needs? Or what would make you feel less uncomfortable? Because in business, very often those aren't the same things. I want to describe something and see if it rings true to you. You make a decision about an offer, the platform you're going to promote on, a way of showing up, and you take action on it. And things feel okay for a bit. Then there's a slow patch. You're not getting any responses. You're thinking, is this thing on? And the enthusiasm for the direction that you chose wanes. You think, well, maybe this isn't the right approach after all. Maybe I need to rethink this. And then not long after that, you find yourself back at the drawing board thinking about changing your offer or ditching Instagram for LinkedIn or vice versa. Not because any evidence told you, but because the discomfort just got loud enough that moving felt better than staying, because action feels better than sitting still, doesn't it? Or maybe for you, it's slightly different. You look back over the last year and notice that you've actually moved quite a bit, different platforms. You've repositioned once or twice. You've had offers that changed before they had a chance to prove themselves. And each shift had a reason at the time. Each one felt considered, but nothing has quite had the chance to build on anything else. Both scenarios are familiar to me. And the thing is, none of that means that you're flaky or not committed to your business. It means that nobody ever walked you through the difference between a decision made from evidence and a decision made from the discomfort of not yet having evidence. They can look almost the same from the outside and feel almost identical inside. So, what are you meant to do? Well, before we get into it, welcome back. I'm Lyndon, and this channel is about entrepreneurial leadership for women in online business and the internal work that supports external action for progress rather than just for a treadmill of work. I've been in this online business space for nearly 10 years now, and everything I teach comes from what I've experienced and worked through in it. So let's get into it. So the difference between a pivot and a fear response. Well, let me start with what a genuine pivot actually is, because I think that word gets used quite loosely. A real pivot is led by your business. Something in the data or in your own honest evaluation is telling you that a direction isn't serving the business in the way that you expected it to. You've given strategies and tactics a fair run, you've gathered some actual information, and from that place, you make a considered decision to change course. That's a legitimate pivot. It's evidence-led and based on what your business needs or the direction that you want to take your business in from a grounded place. A fear response, on the other hand, is different. It's led by discomfort, specifically the discomfort of being in the phase between taking an action and seeing what results from it, where nothing's confirming yet that you made the right call. Your brain, which is always looking for a way out of uncertainty, generates reasons to make a change. This isn't working. I've learned enough to know that this isn't right, or maybe I need a different approach. And those thoughts can be really convincing. They arrive in strategic language about audience growth or conversion rates, and it feels like something that you're really thinking about. But what they're actually doing is offering you relief from the discomfort of not knowing yet whether a decision is going to pan out, because there's a lag time between taking action. Hi there. There's a lag time between taking action and seeing what happens as a result of that action. So far, so good, but what about the role of intuition? If something feels off, shouldn't we listen to that? Well, absolutely, yes. And that's frustrating, right? So we've got business needs, we've got what you want, we've got evidence from the data, and we've got the role of your intuition, and I'm saying that all of them are important. So how does that help you? I know. But before you click off and never come back, I know that it's frustrating, but we'll iron it out, so let's keep going. Intuition is real and worth taking seriously. And let's face it, it is also possible to confuse it with anxiety when you're in an uncomfortable phase. So we've actually got three things that can show up when you're mid-cycle, and that makes things difficult. We've got data from your own business, a fear response dressed up as a strategic thought, and we've got genuine intuitive knowing. And honest truth is that distinguishing between them isn't something that a framework can do for you. It's not a case of you feel this, then listen to this pool. And if you feel that, then listen to that one. It's something no one else can tell you, which big picture for your business is actually really good news and what building yourself as a business owner is all about, really. Telling the difference between your legitimate pivot and a fear response from discomfort requires knowing yourself and being honest with yourself. Knowing what your fear feels like in your body versus what genuine knowing feels like, and recognizing which signal it actually is. It doesn't matter how I'd respond to that situation or how anyone else would. How you respond is based on everything that makes you, you. And the point being, it's a distinction you make through developing your entrepreneurial leadership, not through following a framework or a flow chart. And I'll tell you something, I'm in the early stages of relaunching something that I worked on before, and I'm having to do exactly this. I'll tell you more about the details soon, but for now, revisiting previous work that I've done has brought up some feelings. So I'm having to check, is this decision that I'm wanting to make coming from evidence? Or is it from anxiety of being in the early days of something? Or is it coming from something I genuinely know to be true? It's not always immediately obvious. And even when it is, it doesn't mean in the moment that I actually want to listen to it. But knowing that there's no external answer and the decision is mine to make and own makes it easier and not harder when you can remove that feeling that someone somewhere else must know what would be right. Now, why does this matter commercially? Because every time you exit a cycle before it can tell you anything, you don't just lose the time that you spent on following that direction. You lose the chance that it had to build on what you've already done. You reset the clock, as it were. And you also chip away at your self-trust because you've taught yourself again that your decisions aren't quite reliable enough to stay the course with. And in my experience, is the last thing that women in business need. This is, as you'll know if you've watched previous videos, one of the places where entrepreneurship is genuinely different from employment. In a job, if you follow someone else's framework and it doesn't work out, it affects someone else's business. Here, you are the variable, which means knowing yourself well enough to read your own signals isn't a soft skill, and it's not navel gazing. It's one of the most practically useful skills that you can develop. So what does it look like when you've built up this internal capacity, when you've got some real self-knowledge to work with? Well, you still feel the pull of wanting to change direction, but you pause before you act on it, and you've got a set of questions or a thought process that you run it through, not an external rigid checklist, just your own honest thought process. What's actually telling me that I want to change? Is there evidence here, or am I just uncomfortable and looking for an exit? When you do change direction, you can trace the decision back to a reason, you can explain it. And when you can hold a direction through feeling discomfort, when you stay with something that isn't giving you tangible answers yet, you find that the discomfort was the test. And passing that test over time builds a kind of confidence in your business that no external validation could have given you, because it came from you backing yourself and finding out that you were right to do so. So the key shift from this video, the question isn't only, is this fear or is this data? It's, do I know myself well enough to read which this actually is? That's the work. And it gets easier the more that you do it. So something worth sitting with this week. Think about a direction that you moved away from in the last year or so. What was it specifically that told you it wasn't working? And is that information from your business, or was it the discomfort that you read as information? Next week, I want to talk about what keeping the faith actually looks like when you're in that period, not the theory of it, but the practice of it, including what it means to hold your direction when the entire online business space seems to be very commercially motivated in keeping you questioning yourself. That's a real thing, and it's worth talking about plainly. So if this is the kind of thinking that's useful to you in your business, subscribing means that you'll have the next video when it comes out, and the videos do build on each other, so it's worth being here for the full picture. And if you're in the middle of the kind of decision making that we've been talking about today, trying to work out whether to hold or whether to change course, Recalibrate Your 30-Day Practice to Confident Decision Making is a short program where the entrepreneurial leadership work can begin, and the link is in the description. If you'd like to help my channel out, give me a like as you're leaving, and maybe share this video with a business friend that you feel might benefit. And why not stick around to watch this video next to support your entrepreneurial leadership development? I'll see you there or next week. Bye for now.